I'm Mark Vernarelli, and welcome to Inside Harford County, a program where we sit down with our community leaders and discuss the issues important to the citizens of Harford County. Spring is finally here, hallelujah, and with it comes the perfect opportunity to get outdoors and enjoy all that Harford County has to offer. And among our many beautiful parks is a truly unique destination, the Anita Leight Estuary Center in Abingdon. And here to talk about this one-of-a-kind natural resource, our site manager, Lauren Greoski, and Harford County Executive Bob Cassilly. Thank you both for being here today. Lauren, pleasure. Excited to have you here today. Sir, I'm not too smart, so don't ask me to spell estuary, but I know every time I go to type it or try to spell it, I get it wrong. But I know what it is. Tell folks what an estuary is, because it's a very unique area.
It's really simply where the fresh water that's flowing in from the streams on the land is running into the salt water of the Chesapeake Bay. And you got the confluence here. In this particular case, it's the Anita Leight Estuary Center. That lies where it's the Otter Point Creek flowing into the Bush River, which is part of the Chesapeake Bay, and then on. And so you have the blending of the salt and the fresh water. It's a really rich environment for plant life and animal life. And so it's just a special part of Harford County that we protect.
And it is part of the Harford County Parks and Rec system. Talk a little bit about the history briefly.
So the property, the Leight family moved into the property in the 1800s. They hunted it, they fished it. Anita Leight was one of the family members. And in 1982, the family did not want it to go into development, so they donated it for a park in Harford County. And since then, we've been improving it slowly. The county has been improving it slowly and adding to it. And in fact, we're just growing it a little bit, even as we speak, adding a little bit more land onto it. But it's a real gem, and this year we're celebrating 30 years of it being an active park.
Lauren, the old saying is, if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life. And I'm sure when you're driving into work, you probably are really excited about being there.
I am, definitely. Dream job.
Must be something to see, as the county executive said, so many different animals and species and plants. It's really interesting with the fresh water mixing with the salt water, right?
Yes, definitely.
Well, let's take another closer look at this absolutely beautiful place.
So the Anita Leight Estuary Center is a nature center focused on the Chesapeake Bay. Here at the Estuary Center, we have hiking trails that can be explored if you want to get out in the woods. We also have trails on the water if you want to get in your kayak or your canoe and explore the marsh. We have a nature center that has live animals, snakes, turtles, frogs that you can visit. There's a children's play area, and we also have a children's play area outside called our Nature Discovery Area. If you want to sign up and do some things on the weekends, we always have stuff going on, so you can join us for a program focused on wildflowers, or you can join us for a program focused on birds. We also do research and monitoring projects here, so we are a part of the Chesapeake Bay National Estuarine Research Reserve, and we do research and monitoring of things like fish and birds and grasses. So if you want to get involved in anything like that, you can join us for that as well. And there's just time out here to explore and enjoy the beauty that is here in Harford County. This is not a common spot. It's a freshwater marsh, and we have a variety of plants and animals that are here. So you probably won't find too much like this around, so it's worth a visit.
Just amazing views of Otter Point Creek. Let's take a closer look now down by the actual shoreline.
Behind me is Otter Point Creek, and Otter Point Creek is a part of the Bush River, and it is a part of the Chesapeake Bay. We have a beautiful treasure right here in Harford County, and if you come out here, you'll be right next to it, and you can get up close and personal by either just visiting here and hanging out by the picnic tables that we have, or joining us for a canoe and kayak trip where we launch right from here and we head out into our wetland, which is about 450 acres of protected freshwater wetlands. It's owned by the Isaac Walton League, and we go out there all the time to explore. And if you want to be visiting us, we're not super far. If you go right down Route 40, we are right off of Route 40, head down Otter Point Road, and be 2 minutes, and you'll be right here to visit this beautiful gem.
Absolutely beautiful place. Now, Lauren, when you have a nature center of any kind, you have to have indoor things as well as outdoor things. Talk about what we have indoors now that we've seen a lot of what we have outdoors.
Sure. So inside, when you first come in, you have the lobby that has a fish tank anybody can come up and visit, and there's some animals right there. Taxidermy, not alive. And then when you go upstairs, we have our exhibit hall that has exhibits on the Chesapeake Bay, and we have a kids corner that you can explore for a little while. And then we have an animal room up there too that you can see. For other groups who come in, we have an auditorium that we do classes in, summer camp, things like that. And then we also have a lab. So our lab is where we do our research and monitoring, and we use that sometimes for our programming as well.
I would think there are a lot of turtles and terrapins.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's the case. And what's the difference between the two? A lot of people don't realize it's just a subtle difference, right?
So, well, every tortoise is a turtle, but not every turtle is a tortoise, is what we say. So diamondback terrapins, that is one of the animals that we have. They're aquatic, and they usually show up more in the saltier parts of the bay. So the one we have is in a tank, but it's not, it's not one that you're going to find in Otter Point Creek necessarily. So, but they're very friendly. Our turtle, her name is Squirt, and you can come in and see her, say hello. She likes to greet you when you walk up to the tank. So, yeah.
A lot of people are familiar with the good old-fashioned, sometimes ancient box turtle, and now we're going to go to one of the naturalists at the Estuary Center, Kai, and hear a little bit more about that.
Hi there, I'm Kai. I'm a naturalist here at the Estuary Center, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about our critters that a lot of people come to see and get to know. Our first friend here is Speedy. He's a box turtle. We call him Speedy because while he's not super fast, he's faster than you'd expect. Now, box turtles are called box turtles because while most turtles can tuck into their shells, box turtles can actually close their shells like a box. They have a little hinge on their belly, a split in their shell, that if he was scared right now, he would tuck in. But since he's one of our ambassador animals, he's very comfortable with us.
Now, Kai's got one of those jobs like yours that she just must absolutely love, and that's so fascinating. One thing that I can say I'm fascinated by, but I don't care for too much, snakes. But yet snakes are fascinating, and you have a few of them there too as well, right, Lauren?
We do. We have a black rat snake and we have a corn snake. So those are what are in the building, but there are a variety of snakes outside. Most of them are constrictors. So if they're not venomous, but they are very important to the ecosystem. So we do try to educate people when they come in that even if you're scared, it's okay. They are there to help control the rodent population.
I was just going to ask you, what exactly do they do? And it's obvious they keep the rodents down.
They do, and ticks, because ticks will hop up onto rodents. So the tick population as well gets controlled. So.
Well, there's a popular favorite down there. Let's go back to Kai and learn a little bit more about that particular favorite.
So this is Corn Chip. He's a corn snake, hence the name Corn Chip. He is called a corn snake because on their bellies they have a pattern that would resemble the multicolored corn that you might see at Thanksgiving time. Now, he's actually not the normal colors for a corn snake. In the wild you would see a orangey red brown color, but since he was actually bred to be a pet snake, he's got this gray-brown. Snakes come in all kinds of variants, so they can look all different kinds of ways. Snakes are really important because they eat mice and other critters that we consider pests. So we actually like having them around.
Kai's holding that critter like a pro, and I'll tell you what, Lauren, Kai can keep holding that critter like a pro, but I know the snakes really are fascinating. I would think an estuary also is an ideal environment for frogs, right?
Definitely, yes. We have two frogs in the center. You can visit our gray tree frog and our bullfrog, but there's a variety of frogs outside as well, especially in the spring when you first start hearing them. You'll hear the spring peepers. That's a sign warmer weather is coming. We also have other species you can find as well. So
let's go back to Kai for another closer look.
So there's a lot of frogs and amphibians out here in the wetlands. We have two different frogs in our nature center. This is Spruce. He's a tree frog. So we also have Fib, the bullfrog. These frogs are great ambassador animals, especially in their differences. The bullfrog is one of the largest species of frog there is, and as you can see, Spruce here is pretty small. He's a tree frog, and that's why we named him Spruce, after the tree. But he eats mostly bugs, and the bullfrog eats anything he can fit his mouth around.
What a place. County Executive Cassilly, how does this park fit in with the other parks in the Park and Rec system?
Sure. So we really have two nature centers, and they complement each other. This Anita Leight is in the south end of the county, right along the waterfront. But the companion is the Eden Mill Nature Center, right up along, really close to the Pennsylvania line. And it's up in the Piedmont Plateau, so you're seeing the elevation there. And it's Deer Creek flows through there, the main stream coming through the county flows through there. It's a different trees, different wildlife up there, and then you have so it's the companion between the two. And I got to tell you, both of them, the staff is just amazing. And I watch these folks with you bring the kids in there. It's all hands on. And they just have so much of a great time. And I would encourage folks, don't just pick one or the other. You got to do them both. You know, spend a day at Anita Leight, spend another day up at Eden Mill, and compare and contrast the beautiful ecology that is Harford County.
Speaking of kids, let's take a listen right now to find out some of the things that the kids love about this beautiful place.
Hi, I'm John. I'm a naturalist here at the Anita Leight Estuary Center. We're here today at the Anita Leight Estuary Center Nature Discovery Area. We have an obstacle course for the children to take advantage of. We have a play area with some rocks and pebbles for them to explore and get dirty. We have an actual canoe sitting over here where you can pretend that you're paddling and exploring the estuary of Otter Point Creek, and cookies where we can stack cookies and enjoy play. We can make noise with our chimes and with our xylophone and all these other things, and explore your imagination. Enjoy the visit here at the Nature Discovery Area.
Mr. Cassilly, your kids and now with your grandkids, I'm sure you've been there many, many times.
Many times. It's a great, I mean, it's a great environment for kids. It's totally hands-on, both the inside and outside. It's a hands-on park. You got canoeing and kayaking, the nature trails, the nature center. You see school groups come in very frequently and do the tours. They have summer camps up there. And again, it's a great, the staff is just amazing. These folks are just so cooperative and caring and really want to share the experiences with the children. So it's a great one. I can, as a grandfather, I can attest that your kids will love it.
One of the cool things they have there also is a sensory trail and also indoor animal displays. And we'll go back to John and hear a little bit more about that.
And other things for kids to do here there's a sensory trail just to the left of the building. So you can walk along with your children. You can learn about the sounds of all the different animals that they make in the woods. There's some QR codes to scan. There's some things for you to touch, some plant life and nuts and other things that just to enjoy getting familiar with what is here in the woods. And some footprints so that you can test your knowledge of what are these footprints supposed to be. And then if you really want to take something away, you can go to our little library and find a book to take with you and enjoy taking something that you can learn a little bit more about nature.
So Lauren, got to have hiking trails, of course, but with all that water around, are there also what I guess you would call paddle trails, right?
Yes, so we have hiking trails you can explore. It'll probably take you about 2 hours to cover all of them. It's not a ton, but you can get out on the water, and our water trail goes all the way around a wetland. It's 450 acres of protected freshwater marsh, and it's in the Bosley Conservancy. So you can paddle through there whether you're joining our trips or if you want to go out on your own. There's a launch down at Otter Point that you can take too. So
now you really are living the dream because you studied this in college, right? This is really what you wanted to do.
Yes.
Talk about your background a little bit.
Yeah, so I went to school for marine science, and I fell in love with taking care of the earth, and I learned about watersheds, and I learned about the ocean, but then the bay, and I grew up in Maryland, so being able to find the Estuary Center and be able to combine research and combine education and share with people what I've learned throughout my career has been wonderful, so yes.
And people don't realize a lot of these gems that we have in this beautiful county are right off of Route 40, basically, right, Mr.
Yeah, this is
Cassilly?
right off. This is 1 minute off of Route 40. Once you make the turn, you're there. It's easy to get in, easy to get out, plenty of parking. Yeah, folks should come on down. It's too easy.
It's unfortunate that a lot of people define a place by what they see from the main highway, in this case 95. But when you get off, even get off Route 40, you see these gems. And how did you, Lauren, how did you find this particular estuary?
So I was in AmeriCorps for a year, and my supervisor had given me the job announcement. So I grew up in Baltimore, didn't know about it. And then I came and I fell in love with it. So I learned through the network, but not, I had to learn that way. Yeah.
What do you hear from especially kids? You know, kids say the darndest things, as they used to say. What do you hear that kids are most surprised by when they go there? Maybe especially kids who don't have that type of environment where they live.
That not every plant is poisonous. They get surprised that they can walk outside and it's safe, and there's things they can touch, and there's things that they can explore. And being able to like touch something, and a wild animal is, you know, fascinating to a lot of them. So
yeah, a lot of kids don't really see turtles or any kind of, or a lot of us don't see wild animals on a daily basis anyway.
Yeah, well, you see them there if you come visit.
I'm sure. What about plant life? What type of plant life? It's interesting, the estuary being where the merging of the two types of water. Does that lend itself to different types of plants?
Yes, so you have the plants that grow in the water, so we have emergent vegetation, underwater grasses, but we also have our gardens that have native pollinator plants that people can come and visit. We have a connection with the master gardeners, and they have been working with us for a few years to put some native plants out there and help us take care of the current ones we have to help the pollinators, help the birds. And then we also are lucky enough to have a greenhouse. It's been there for quite a while, but the master gardeners are able to use that to grow plants to put in our gardens and then to also give away at our festivals and things. So
I'm sure I could answer for you what your kids and grandkids like, Mr. Cassilly. What do you like about the center? What gives you peace when you go there?
You know, I enjoy just watching the kids interact. I enjoy you go inside to where the animals are, where the living animals, particularly the reptiles, and boy, they can bring some smiles. It's pretty adorable to watch the kids' reactions to the turtles, the snakes, the salamanders, and all those things. And I have to tell you also, you going down to the water. The trails go down to the water, and this is the entire bay out there. You're looking. It's just such a beautiful view because you're not like looking off. You know, the estuary, the nature center ends, but it doesn't end into a development. It keeps on going around. So the view of the entire, just being down there is very peaceful. It's beautiful. The eagles flying in, and folks, you can go fishing down there. It's very nice.
Lauren, when you were in college, this was serious study. This is not just going out and playing with frogs and looking for turtles and, you know, walking through the marsh grass. There's a lot of science and research, I would imagine, that's done there. It can be done there. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So we are one of the 3 sites of the Chesapeake Bay National Estuary and Research Reserve System. So we're fortunate to be connected to Department of Natural Resources, and we have people come out and do research and monitoring through them. And we also have community science projects. So that's where anyone can sign up if they're interested in science or they just want to provide information. A few of those projects, one is our Salt Watch program. So this one looks at the salt content after our winter storms to see how much is in the water, and then that way we can understand how that's impacting wildlife. And so volunteers are a great one in the winter to do something. And then we have our marsh bloom time monitoring, where we have volunteers go out in canoes and monitor plants along the marsh through April through, I believe, October to see how they're changing over the season. We're seeing with climate change that things are shifting, so we want to understand how that's happening. And then we also have our the marsh bloom time, we did that one, and then we have our SAV watchers, so that studies the grasses under the water, and people can come out and help with that one as well, so it's another monitoring project.
What are people and visitors going to see right about now, coming out end of April, middle of April through the middle of May, early June?
There's so much to see. Right now, all of the flowers are coming up, so wildflowers. We have azaleas that show up. We have, there's pink lady slippers. You've got violets coming up. And then you'll also see a lot of birds coming through too. So migratory birds come out in the springtime. We'll see warblers. The osprey are back, so those are our fish hawks, and they nest right near the center, so you can actually go see their nest if you're visiting. And yeah, lots of different insects. So we've got the butterflies coming back and dragonflies, so yeah.
We wouldn't have any of these places if not for the watchdog groups who try to keep the waterways clear, and one of those is the Otter Point Creek Alliance. Talk about that nonprofit and just what they do.
So Otter Point Creek Alliance was formed to be a support group for the Estuary Center, so they're a nonprofit, and they help with the mission of the building. So they help support us with our research, education, and monitoring, and they also do programming themselves, and they go out to events to share about who we are, and people can volunteer through them as well. It's just a wonderful organization, and everything that they do, it goes right back into the Estuary Center.
Mr. Cassilly, your family's been here for many generations, as you've pointed out before. When you talk to people from a marketing perspective, when you pitch Harford County, so to speak, to people that you come into contact with, be they leaders or just members of the public, what do you tell them about things like this Estuary Center? It's not just the view off of I-95. Harford County really is blessed with a lot of beautiful gems.
You're right, Mark. We are, and whether you're coming here for business or to run a business or be a resident, it's things like Anita Leight Estuary Center that make it a special place to be. If you're an employer, you want employees here to come and stay. This is one reason for them to come and stay. It's an incredible amenity. If you're just here to raise your family, boy, it makes your job a whole lot easier. This is, there's minimal. Just drive over. Come on in. So much stuff to do. There's absolutely free. The kids can spend an entire day there, and all you'll spend on is the cost of your gas. And it's just such a great quality of life enhancer to have this available, regardless of your income.
Lauren, do you get groups of workers, office workers come out and like do they do team building? Do they just come out to detox? What types of groups do you get coming out there among the adults?
All kinds. So this month, April is usually pretty popular for volunteer opportunities. We get contacted for things that they want to do. So we actually have a wellness group that's coming out to help clean up one of our areas. And then we have just any businesses can contact us and say, hey, we want to do a volunteer opportunity. So we'll set that up for them. But we've done private paddle trips for groups as well. So if you're interested, you got a group, you can just ask us and we'll try to get you out on the water. So
let's go back to the animals for a minute, because I know especially the kids really love to talk about that. Go back to the snakes for a moment. How prevalent are they? You said you had 2 different types of snakes, but what do people see when they go out there with those snakes?
So most of the time, if you're out on the water, you'll see water snakes, and if you leave them alone, they're usually pretty good. I wouldn't get too close to them though. They're just they get a little upset easy. But you also see garter snakes. They're usually around a good bit, and then the black rat snakes are out there too. So, but again, any of the snakes you're going to see, they're not really harmful to you. So
a lot of kids are fascinated, and I'm fascinated. And I'm way past the kids stage, unfortunately, but they're fascinated with the peepers, we call them. Sure. And they're really tiny frogs, aren't they? Talk about them, because I think a lot of people, when they drive through the Harford County back roads, they get to a creek and they hear this cacophonous, beautiful sound, which is the sound of spring thanks to the peepers, right?
Yes. So they're the first frog to come out in the springtime. They are very tiny. And the thing that blows me away is that we get these cold events and they're still okay. They find a way to kind of calm down, go under the mud and then come back out. But they're the first sound of spring. And if you can catch one, it's really neat to be able to hold them. They're really tiny. And I think they're the smallest frog. So.
Now, you could probably always use donations or maybe some volunteers if folks are watching right now and they want to get involved or people want to donate something. How do they do that?
Sure. So we have a website that the nonprofit put together. It's otterpointcreek.org. They can go on there. They can set donations on that website. They can also sign up to volunteer. And this is a great, cause because it's right there in your community. So what you're giving is something you can see right there. So.
And how about those otters, those cute otters? Otter Point Creek had to be named after otters, right?
It did, and we have them. They're there, but they're very smart, so they tend to
You don't see them very often.
Not often, but if you get out on a paddle by yourself, if you have your own boat, and you go out and it's quiet, there's a better chance for you to see them. They are there. They just can hide easily. So.
Mr. Cassilly, you talked about the 2 estuaries, the 2 nature centers that are each end of the county that define the apex of what nature's like, and you go to both of them often.
Yeah, and there's so many more. I mean, the new park that we're going to be opening up at Swan Creek is just amazing. That's 1,500 acres, and that'll complement Anita Leight, but just the entire park system. And there's so many more. We've got just so many parks heading up along Deer Creek, Winter's Run, the lake. So there's so many miles of hiking that can be done, beautiful hiking trails, including at Anita Leight. But there's just many, many miles of gorgeous hiking trails all along the creeks and streams in Harford County and even along the Susquehanna River. So we've got plenty to do here in Harford County, and all you have to invest is your time and a good set of hiking shoes. You can have a really good time and just pack a lunch, put on a backpack, and just hike for days. You can have a good time.
And how can people find out more about both this center and the Parks and Rec operation in general?
Sure. Well, you've got the Parks and Rec. Just go on the Harford County the Harford County website and go to the Parks and Rec, and we list all of our parks in there and have descriptions and tell you how to get to those. So that's a great opportunity there. For Otter Point Creek, as we just mentioned, the otterpointcreek.org website will give you some more information. So we're open, and we also have our Hello Harford website as well that talks about different opportunities, particularly special events, because they're always both at Anita Leight and up at Eden Mill Nature Center. There's festivals and the like, which are really a lot of fun. Great kids love them. Older people love them. Everybody does. There's so much stuff. They bring out these naturalists, and we'll have eagles and all kind of great things, owls and things for you to look and see, and it's a good time.
Lauren, I imagine there's no such thing as a dull day out there, and furthermore, you probably just absolutely love each day there because they're all different, right? You see different things and different people and different animals. You must just absolutely love your job.
I really, really do. It is never a dull moment, for sure. And I also want to mention, too, the best days are when we do have the festivals. We have our Wade into Summer Festival coming up on June 6th. It's from 1 to 4. Anyone can come out. There's free canoe rides. So those are always really fun because you never know. It's a great opportunity to see who we are.
And the point is, you can go in the water. And when you say wade into spring, you can go into the water. The kids can go out there and be in the water, not just standing on the shoreline.
Yes.
What types of things can they do when they get out there?
Yeah. So they can get on a canoe for the first time, even little ones. It's a great spot to be able to do that. We have exhibitors they can visit. There's games they can play, and then they can also get to see the animals, get their faces painted, that kind of thing.
What's the most surprising thing that a kid has ever said to you, or a reaction that maybe you were just so thrilled to see from a younger child?
I would say I was with a student. She was probably in 3rd grade, and she had never held an animal, a wild animal, and she caught a toad.
Oh, wow.
And her face lit up, and she was just, you could tell that was something she's going to remember forever. And she was afraid of them, but she took her time and she got it, and very proud of herself. So
So this is really the fulfillment of your college education. This is exactly what you studied to do, and you've been blessed to be able to do that, and in your own backyard, more or less. But as you said, being from Baltimore, you never really knew about the place until a few years ago.
Yep, and I'm making a mission to let people know now.
And we've got too many people who live just a quarter mile away from this and don't even know much about it. So that's the purpose of this. Is we want people to know. It's a great amenity, and it's right in your backyard. Come on out, enjoy it, have a great day. Bring the family, bring the neighbors, bring the friends, and really get to experience really the real natural beauty and wonder that's right here in your backyard.
County Executive Cassilly, thank you so much for being here. Best of luck to you and your family.
Thank you.
Lauren, thank you too. Glad to see you living the dream, and we'll get out there and see you at this beautiful Estuary Center. And thank you for watching Inside Harford County, airing exclusively on Harford TV. Please join us again next month. I'm Mark Vernarelli.